Hello, my weird and wonderful human beings. I am in Copenhagen, and I got a haircut. Looks pretty good, right? I am in Copenhagen, Denmark, otherwise known as Copenhagen, for a 2-week science communication course. We have already completed 4 weeks of asynchronous online learning, and now we get to conclude with 2 weeks of actually seeing each other in person. So here I am. It's very pretty. And I figured that since I'm in Copenhagen for a communication course, now would be just as good a time as any to communicate what the heck I'm doing. For those who don't know, I have been studying experimental and biomedical research in Linköping, Sweden for the last 2 years. As of yet, I haven't graduated, but we're working on that. But along that process, I have learned quite a few things. Some of those things I learned inside a classroom, some of them I did not, and most of them are still very much works in progress. I'm figuring it out as I go, people. But here's what I've got so far. The first thing I've learned since coming to Sweden is that sunlight is an extremely rare and precious resource and something to be enjoyed to its fullest. Now, you will have to excuse my lack of comprehension for what is understandably a pretty universal concept, but please remember, I come from South Florida, a place where the sun shines so bright and so hot that it is to be feared and hidden away from. But here in Northern Europe, where winters are long and lonely and soul-crushingly dark in a way that is impossible to understand, sunlight is a precious resource. My first winter here, I got by on a mixture of denial, completely unwarranted hope, and 20 liters of cider that I'd made in my basement. This most recent winter, I had figured out a few more tricks. Vitamin D pills to keep the depression at bay, a UV lamp hooked up to a timer to help keep my circadian rhythm in check, and friends to call on and keep me grounded when things got rough. Figuring out that dark winters suck may not be rocket science, but it came with a little bit of a learning curve for a Florida girl. And definitely a lot simpler than acknowledging that you have no idea what you're doing. And because you have no idea what you're doing, you should probably be asking questions. I might be filming upside down. Also, I might be a little bit lost. But I did find this cute little park and some really cool wall art, which you cannot see, so I will overlay it here. We have a tendency as human beings to not want to reveal our weaknesses. We don't want to look foolish. We don't want people to realize how little we know. And because of this, we don't ask questions when we probably should. We don't want to expose our own ignorance. In an age where the term ignorance gets wielded like a weapon, we are willing to do a lot of things to not be perceived as ignorant. But ignorance in and of itself is innocent. Ignorance is just not knowing a thing. There is nothing malicious about not knowing. There is something malicious about not being willing to learn. So to get unlost, I had to ask for directions from some lovely ladies at this cafe. And because I can't pronounce Danish to save my life, they thought I was Swedish. So, bonus points for me. So, little update. I've unlosted myself. Unlosted? Whatever. I'm not lost anymore. Also, update. I haven't graduated yet. I have been studying in Linköping, Sweden for 2 years now. My master's program takes 2 years. So if everything had gone 100% according to the original plan, I should be graduated by now. But I'm not. If If everything had gone according to plan, I would have collected up my credits, presented my final research, and then graduated in the spring with the rest of my friends. Instead, I was offered a half-time research position with the lab that I did my thesis at. They are now paying me to do science, which on the bright side means that I now have something called an income, which is a nice relief because your girl hasn't gotten paid for the last 2 years, and that was getting a little stressful. On the downside, I was hired as a student researcher. It is a half-time position meant to be taken by people who are still pursuing their masters, aka students. The point being, as long as I'm being paid to be a student researcher, I can't graduate. One thing that being employed did make me very aware of in a way that being a student did not. There are more resources available to you than you might think. When I started working at the university, we got handed a packet and a whole seminar on all of the different resources that were available to us, partially through our employer and partially through the government. Things that I had no idea even existed. Part of this goes back to learning how to ask when you don't know something, even if you don't know if it might exist. But there are resources out there. They may not be a perfect fit, they may not be exactly what you were looking for, but they can help. Whether it's financial, medical, or mental health, there are companies and organizations and even people out there that are willing to help. They may not be a perfect fit and they may not be exactly what you were looking for. There are resources out there, so even if you don't think they can help, ask. Because taking care of yourself is hard enough. No reason to make it harder by trying to do it alone. Although I will say that self-care is definitely something that's gotten a little easier since moving to Sweden, thanks in no small part to fika.
Fika is the art of the Swedish coffee break, but it is somehow so much more than that. It's such a complicated concept that I actually wrote a whole kids book about it. Fika is a chance to reconnect with yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's not just grabbing a cold cup of coffee and going back down to sit at your desk. It's a chance to step away, to talk with your colleagues, to check in with yourself. And it's part of why Swedes have such a healthier work-life balance in general. It's hard to imagine how much impact a simple cup of coffee can make in your day, but when it becomes a part of a regular routine, with checking in with yourself and seeing how you're really doing, it makes a world of difference. And it's something that's reinforced by the culture around us here in Sweden. Work meetings will stop at 10 o'clock because it's time for fika. Taking time for yourself to recharge, to step away, and to check in with yourself makes a world of difference. When a habit is reinforced by the culture around you, it is so much easier to make it a part of healthy living and to make it part of a sustainable lifestyle. It's easier for us to take care of ourselves when the people around us support us doing so. And in Sweden, a big part of that is a cup of coffee.
The thing that I am still actively working on, and I will constantly have to learn and relearn for most of, if not all of my life, is to just do the thing. Don't wait. Don't wait for someone else to do it with you. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait until you feel like you're ready. Just do the thing. It doesn't matter if you suck. It doesn't matter if you do it alone. It does not matter if you could have done it better if you had waited. It does not matter if you do it and someone disapproves. You will regret not doing the thing so much more than you will ever regret doing it badly. And odds are you will learn so much more from the doing of the thing than you ever would have by not doing it. That way. Maybe it won't be what you wanted at the end, But if you try,